Hey guys, welcome to another video on the Inside Spurs channel. Happy Friday afternoon to you all. Happy Friday. I hope the week's treated you well. But in this video, we're talking about the breaking news. Andy Robertson is officially a Spurs player. So we'll be talking about that. We're going to be talking about really what's coming up next with, by the sounds of things and by the looks of things, Senesi will also be announced soon. We're talking about that. And just general catch up on a few different transfers and things like that. So plenty to get into and talk about. Not going to waste too much time and stall and what have you. But yes, Andy Robertson, let's talk about it because Spurs have made it official. Obviously, he's currently in America, so he's not going to be holding up the shirt and things like that, but he is here. So hence why you see on the thumbnail, it's just his name on the back of the shirt. But Spurs have said, we are delighted to announce the signing of Andy Robertson, a leader on and off the field. The highly decorated Scotland captain will join the club on July 1st, following the expiration of his contract at Liverpool. Robertson did send in a video, which I'll quickly just say what he says, but he just goes, "Hi, Tottenham fans. It's me, Andy Robertson here. As you can see, I'm not in Glasgow. I'm in America, just now preparing for the World Cup. But I just wanted to send you a quick message to say I cannot wait to play for you guys. I cannot wait to meet you guys. I cannot wait to play in the stadium for the first time in front of you. And I'm already looking forward to next season. All the best, and I'll see you soon." So that was him sending in a video. Quite an arty video as well that Spurs have put out with Michael Dawson on the video, sort of hyping up Robertson, obviously former teammates at Hull a long time ago that he was at Hull when Spurs sold him. But it's a really arty video where, you know, he just talks about how massive the club is, basically. In a general way, he talks about how massive the club is. And, you know, the club's a family, and he's looking forward to welcoming in his former teammate. So let me say a quick few good afternoon before I continue onwards. Simon, how are we? Marshall, Dishoanaki, Frosty Ghost, Steampunk, how are we? Jazz, the real D, how are we, mate? How are we? Boris, yeah, of course. Jeff, how are we? But yeah, no, look, obviously it's good news. You know, I'm not blown away by the deal. Like, I won't lie, I'm not blown away by the deal. Do I not mind the deal for a season? Yeah, I don't mind it. I still find it weird that Liverpool moved on from him. He was their best left back last season. You know, they bring in Kirkes, who, by all accounts, didn't really set the world alight. I don't think it helps he had Slot as a manager, and now he's gone. But you know, with Robbo was their main left back for me. So it does join. I'm just waiting to come out, any news to come out on sort of the contract and things like that. Right now, there's nothing really out there. De Zerbi's talked about it as well. So De Zerbi, what has he said? He says, "I'm excited. He's a Scottish player first of all, and I love Scottish players. Bold, like it. He then brings experience, mentality, and qualities." I'm basically repeating it as I'm watching this video, so bear with me. He's a big player for us. He hasn't started yet, Roberto. So there's that. And then he talks about how much he loves Scottish players because of Billy Gill, Brighton. He says, "I love their mentality, their passion in football as well." So that he didn't really say too much, all things considered. But to be fair, don't want to give away too much, do you? But look, he's spoken about it. He seems to be happy with it, you know. Look, again, like I said, I'm not blown away by the deal, but for a season, and if the season goes well, maybe a second year, I don't hate it. I think that's fair to say. Now, obviously, there's that conversation with a doggy and what's going on there. Just we're a much better team when a doggy's fit. Let's just get the guy fit. We are an infinitely better team when that guy is healthy. He hasn't really been healthy for about a year and a half. So let's get him healthy for once, which not going to the World Cup, sorry, Italy, I don't think is a bad thing for his, you know, health. But with Robbo, obviously he brings another left back into that left back room. He would have been good last year, Robertson, for us. The irony of that, you know, when you think about the right back situation, that seems to be sorted. Obviously, we'll see what happens with Porro, and you know what's going to happen there. Obviously, Dumfries looks like he's going to Real Madrid. So did Man City come back in for Porro? We'll see. But the squad is starting to take shape. So Senesi is the one expected to be next. That's what Fabrizio Romano has said. What did he say, Romano? Yeah. He just said, yeah, it's official. Andy Robertson confirmed as a new Tottenham player on a free from Liverpool. Up next is Marco Senesi. So Senesi is next. You know, I know people were worried, you know, oh, you signing Van Hecke. What does that mean for Senesi? It doesn't mean anything. It means we're going for both of them because let's be real, it's probably a situation where Romero's on the way out the door. So, you know, it's going to happen. You'd expect it to happen within the next few days. Which, again, you're sitting here the 5th of June, you've got 2 guys announced. You know, you've made a bid for Van Hecke, not John Paul. I got that one wrong, didn't I? But you made a bid for Van Hecke. You know, you've obviously had some discussions on Savinho and that side of things. I'm going to come to Savinho in a minute. So, Frosty, I have seen your comment. Don't worry, mate. I will come to talk about Savinho in a minute. Boris thinks it's a 2-year deal, the option of additional extra. Yeah, maybe. JMP, how are you, mate? Is the Robertson signing and Senesi joining soon the good news or nah? Daniel, how are we? Adventurous, how are we? Josh, how are we, bud? What's news about Gakpo from Liverpool? I don't know, mate. What is the news from Gakpo from Liverpool? People seem to realise Senesi is a left centre back, not right centre back. I know it's it's a bit mental, to be honest. And yes, I am on holiday. England probably never looks like this. There's a balcony out there, and I'm pointing at the sun, and I'm a little bit sweaty because I've just come in from walking in 30-degree Cypriot heat for about 3 hours. So, and I've come in, and I was coming in to watch the tennis for a little bit. Zverev's playing, and I've come in and I'm absolutely sweating like crazy because it is warm in Cyprus. I promise you that it is warm. No complaints from me though, but the Irish in me probably does complain a little bit. Senesi's up next. So looking at it when we're June 5th, if we're sitting here in a position where we're sitting here thinking, do you know what? Senesi, Robbo done by early mid-June, right? So let's say it's the 10th of June that it gets done. They're both done, announced, everything's sorted. Would people be happy with that? I want to know what everyone's feeling. Let's do a poll quickly before I come and talk about a couple other people. Senesi and Robbo. Happy, not happy. There you go. Nice and easy. Throw it up there. Get yourselves voting on it. Oh, there you go. Zverev's only just started playing against Mensik. Great. You're on holiday and I'm pretending I am working. It's a Friday. I know I'm 2 hours ahead, so it's 20 to 4 here. It's a Friday. Who the hell works on a Friday? Nobody. We're all thinking there's a sun out there. There's a sun out there. And I want to get drinking. Mostly, isn't it? I sat and watched some of the football in a pub yesterday, drinking a few beers, and I was like, this is great. I'm having a great time. You know? But yeah, let's I'm gonna give a few more, I'm gonna give another minute for the poll just so you get your views in. Rec, mate, how are we? So yeah, we'll wait and see what the news looks like about Senesi and that deal. But we believe it's like a 4-year deal for Senesi. I'm good, Rec, mate. I'm good. Ignore the sweaty hair. That's all I would say. 2 free transfers, not got a problem with that. No, I think that's fair. You know, I do think that's fair. I also think people use the free transfer thing to bash people over the head with it. Like, they've not spent any money. That's not good enough. Spend money. It's like, yeah, but you can still get value on a lesser deal. You know, these two guys are going to provide value in this squad. Does it make the squad better? Yes. Are they going to win us the Premier League? No. No offense to these two, but we also can't be that picky. We finished 17th 2 years in a row. Yes, we were European champions after that first batch, but we also need to realise we're not going to jump from 17th to first in a season. It's not going to happen. And we all want to win the league, right? That's what we all want as football fans. No matter the team, you always want to win the league. Well, you have to take steps to be able to close the gap. Before you even think about we're going to win, you've got a gap here that you need to close. So we are making strides to close it. Senesi and Robertson do improve the squad. And if you've got a position where, look, Vuskovic could be going out on loan and you might sell Romero, you bring in a Van Hecke, you bring in a Senesi, you let a Dragic go, then you're actually sitting there going, the centre-back room's probably better than where it was, one. Two, your left-back room's better than it was. And it's like, well, you might keep Ben Davies as well. There's supposedly he's going to get an extension for a year and it'll probably be him done after that. You start to look at it and think, well, you bring in Savinho, you get Kudus back fit, Madders is going to come back. Your attack is already going to be better. You're playing once a week, so you shouldn't have 12,000 injuries a season. You will improve. I mean, the last time we played one game of football per week, on average, it was under Andrew's first season. We were top of the league after 10 games, but we finished 5th. So I don't even think it's outrageous to say that you could finish up towards 5th again. I don't think that's outrageous, purely on the volume of football that you're not going to play, you know. Same people are there running football as Vinay and Lang. I don't trust them. I couldn't trust them as well. What happened to Levy? His shares, sold his shares. I do not know what's happening with Daniel Levy and his shares. Okay. Trustee of Daniel Levy's family trust agrees sale of 24.99% stake in Tottenham parent company. 8 Sports Capital Limited today announces the signing of a sale and purchase agreement of the 24.99% in Hecke Sport and Development Holding. The transaction is structured through the acquisition from Oakchester Limited of the entire issued share capital of Wahlberg Holdings Limited and Larkin Limited to sell, purchase, blah, 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 blah. Spokesperson for 8 Capital Limited. We're delighted to have signed this agreement to acquire significant stake in Hecke. We're looking forward to working with the club's shareholders, management, staff, players, and fans to support Tottenham Hotspur's continued growth and success. So, okay, that was what Hecke wanted. They wanted that investment. They got that investment. Happy. There you go. That's, to be honest, I think that's kind of all it really means. I'm not going to read much into it, just purely because I just don't. I don't really, without actually doing any research, I don't really know what's going on. And to be honest, I want to talk about football transfers for a day, not people buying billions and billions and billions, you know. People get in their head, you have to spend 100 million each time you can get world-class free transfers. Are you on holiday on your own? Yes, I am, Simon. It seems it's the American NASA DJ is one of the people in the sports group, which let's see how it plays out. There you go, Boris. Brilliant. Spurs won Gakpo. Hopefully not. Anyway, yeah, so people quite happy about Senesi and Robbo for the most part. We want to move on a little bit, purely because I obviously do want to go watch tennis in a minute, but also just want to talk about just want to talk about a couple of other things. Yeah, I mean, there's chatter that Spurs are interested in Bruno Guimaraes. It's not going to happen. They've just sold Gordon. They're not selling Gordon and Guimaraes. People just chill out on that one. People complain about Tell and Odeberg. Gakpo is basically what they are, but older and more expensive. So, and to be honest, it'll be, look, Somerville's still on the list. Leao's on the list, and Leao's been talking. What nonsense did Rafa Leao come out with? I think this is the issue with like a lot of footballers. There's a lack of accountability, right? He said, for how the team worked during the season and how we played, I do not think I was put in condition to play in a position that allows me to make the difference this season. I played for 4 to 5 months with an injury, adding to this playing out position, what made me reach end of May exhausted. Then if you were injured for that long, surely you should take some accountability over your own body, but okay. I want a new challenge out of Syria. I follow the Premier League with great attention. If I have the opportunity to play there or La Liga, I'd be really happy because my talent would be exalted there. Let's see what happened this summer. Look, he's linked to us, but I don't think Spurs will be going anywhere near Rafael. I still think they'll be going to Savinho. Goncalo Ramos or Vlahovic? Neither. Or is that too mental to say? Because I wouldn't want either of them. Because you're on holiday, don't want Levy and Spurs to ruin your Keo and Savlaki. Do you know what? There is a place about 5 minutes that way that do pints of Keo for €4. I haven't been there yet. It's right outside a church. It feels a bit... Don't know if Jesus would be proud of me getting drunk outside the church. You know what I mean? Conway, Van Hecke and Savinho. Yeah, look, I still think it's going to be Savinho. I really do think, by the way, guys, the winger will be Savinho. Because of last season, when you think back to last season, Spurs wanted him. The deal was pretty much there, but then Pep got cold feet and said he didn't want to lose him. Then it's like, here we go. We're going to give you a new deal. Put some money in your back pocket because of it. We'll sell you next summer for a little bit cheaper to the club that you want to go to. So I think it will be Savinho. That deal is progressing. That deal, I honestly can tell you this now, the deal is progressing. How much progression? I have to wait and see. But I don't think Savinho's in the World Cup squad for Brazil. Quick little look. Is Savinho in the World Cup squad? No. There you go. He's not in it. Happy days. Oh, that feels mean. Oh, I didn't mean that, Savinho. Heaven forbid he ever watched this moron talk football. I didn't mean that. Thanks, Callum, mate. Oh, I'm enjoying it. Yeah. Plenty of good, warm weather. Food's decent. Still got another full day here, and then I travel back near enough first thing on Sunday morning. If you could resurrect a deal that Spurs messed up in the past, which player you bring that? Desiree Doué from just a couple of years ago, to be honest. He's in the bloody training ground. We couldn't get it done. Seen links to Cody Gakpo and Lamine Camara. They're going to sign Diamande, Liverpool. We're going to get Gakpo. Jesus. No. I'm all right. I see it being Savinho for left wing and then Wilson being brought in for right wing. Well, I mean, you still got Kudus for right wing. Those out there, Spurs is trying to strike a deal for both. Liverpool wanted, great. I just wonder if they're up to something with Gakpo. Why I order. Thoughts on Daniel Levy selling his shares? It doesn't really do much, to be honest. Like, nothing's going to change in the running of the club, if you get what I mean, because Levy wasn't even here anyway, right? He was here this time last year, right? But he was gone, like a month later, right? It's not going to change much. It just isn't. Like, I hope to be proved wrong in like a good way. It doesn't change much. Like, these guys could come in and go, that Arsenal fella running your club, get him gone. So, expect an update before the start of the World Cup for Van Hecke. Yeah, look, so I'm putting this out here now, okay, on Van Hecke. Too many people read an article headline which put a number of 70 million and went, Spurs have bid 70 million. And it got rejected for 1 year left on his contract. Are they stupid? It is that and the other. It's a 70 million rated player. That wasn't the offer. Brighton can love Van Hecke as much as they want. If they got offered 70 million for a guy with 1 year left on his contract who's not going to sign a new deal, they would be stupid. He's not being bought for 70 million. The offer wasn't for 70 million, you know? So everyone needs to chill on that one. Bruno Fernandes, Dybala. Dybala. Watching for a bus in Vietnam. Sean, how are we, mate? Get Van Hecke. No more Romero. Savinho idea. No dopamine whatsoever. Only a world-class midfielder signing can hit me hard now. Jesus. Bar set high for you, mate. Senesi, Van Hecke, and Savinho all been complete before the World. When does the World Cup start? Here we go. Quick look. There we go. Christ, 6 days time. The World Cup starts in 6 days time. That's mental. That. Yeah, look, Robbo was a deal, and Senesi, they're both were deals from within the season. Savinho kind of feels similar in a way, but more so it'll be a move this summer. I think, I think Savinho gets done within the next few weeks. Van Hecke, I can see happening after the window, because I think Brighton are going to want to stall that, because they've got Liverpool who are interested, who have just brought in a new manager. You've got Chelsea who are interested, who are bringing in a new manager in Xabi Alonso. City are supposedly linked with him, new manager in Maresca. So I think Brighton are going to try and hold out a little bit and see if they can eke out as much money as possible. Which, to be fair, if I was them, I would do the same thing. No judgment from me. No judgment from me. Yeah. And I have dyslexia and I don't really say sentence like that. Yeah, anyone that read the sentence that we bid 70 million for Van Hecke was all worry. I personally don't want Vlahovic, especially Van Hecke, as he's off to the World Cup in a couple of days. Why aren't many top clubs after Stiller, mate? Clubs are starving for the ball playing 6, and he's still at Stuttgart. Could be a lot of things with Stiller. It can come down to money, agent fees, wages. Come down to he may not want to leave Stuttgart yet. I mean, how old is Stiller? He's 25, so he's only recently turned 25, so he's still very young. And it's how they want the deal structured. But yeah, Van Hecke and Savinho feel like the two that are on paper most likely at the moment. You're probably talking about a deal, not for both of them, but a deal roughly around about 100 to 110 million is my guess on those two. So if we did, I'm interested to see. I'm interested to see how. I don't know why I'm looking for a poll. There we go. So if we did this, 110 million for Senesi, Robbo, Van Hecke, and Savinho. Spell Savinho, right? Happy, not happy. I want to see what you guys think. There's a little poll there. Tell me what you think. Because I think if you had asked me at the start of this summer, you're going to get Senesi, you're going to get Robertson. I don't know why I'm giving a thumbs up. The MacBook has a way of its own. You're going to get Savinho and Van Hecke for about 110 million. If they all had years left on their contract, you're thinking 10 million for Robbo, 25, 30 for Senesi. You'll talk 50 for each of those two guys. And you're thinking, actually, I think that's decent value for money. They're all going to help and improve us. Van Hecke seems to stay healthier than Romero, which is obviously that side of things. But, you're going to have a situation where that's going to improve the squad immensely. You're going to move on from a keeper. So you're probably going to, I think Vicario will be gone this summer. I think Inter Milan are very keen on him. So you're going to have to bring in the keeper. James Trafford feels like kind of the shout there, if I'm honest. Not saying it will be. I mean, there's Carl Darlow links, which makes me think Kinski would be the number one. Darlow's the backup. You're going to get 20 odd million out of Vicario. You can sell Dragicin for sort of 15, 20, to be honest. You could sell Romero, even if you say Romero for 50. I mean, Christian Romero contracts. Oh, to be fair, Romero does have a deal until 2029. We should be getting more than 50 million for Romero if he's got a deal that lasts for another 3 years. I'm not saying we'll sit here and get 150, but we should be looking at 70 to 80. So even if you go conservative and say 60, you know, if you're getting about 100 million for Vicario, Romero, and Dragoshin, those players that you're bringing in are funded by those players going out. You then think about Bissouma's going to be gone. You know, Palhinha doesn't seem to be someone that Spurs are going to keep. And I wouldn't want them to keep Palhinha either. So I'm not too bothered about that. But there may be potential for another midfielder to move on. In the attack, you've got 2 strikers. I'd expect one of them to move on this summer. I can't foresee them going into another season with Solanke and Richarlison. So Spurs still can make some good money this summer. I mean, look, you could also see a situation that they sell Porro. Like, that's on the table. They could cash in on Porro. And if you cash in on Porro, again, you're going to make another 50-odd million. Because he's got 2 years left on his deal, I think. So if you're cashing in on all these guys and you're making, say, 60 on Romero, you're making 15 on Vicario, 15 on Dragoshin, that's 90. You know, you cash in on Porro for, let's say, 50. These are all really, really conservative numbers. There'll be more than this. But you get 50 for Porro, it's 140. You know, you sell Richarlison for 30, for example. You got 170 million just coming through for players that you're not going to keep going forward. You then can put your own money in of 150, 200 million. Spurs easily could. And you could have a massive summer. Now, are they going to? Absolutely not. But you get the idea. Let's see what you guys think. Can't wait for one a week. As soon as the fittest player came to Spurs, they were breaking the leg every week. Well, yeah. Yeah, that is true. All could be brilliant signs for us, but if that's what we're spending, this window will end up being 300 million plus in order to bring in what is needed. Inter kind of lost interest in Vicario. It looks like Juventus. Well, Di Gregorio is not someone they love at Juventus. Romero 60 plus. Yeah, I think it's going to be 60. I think it'll be 70. Look, if Romero has a great World Cup as well, by the way, absolutely you'll get more money. And that's the other thing. Sign Van Hecke before the World Cup. Because if you don't and he plays really well, his fee is just gone up, you know. Atletico is selling Alvarez and that'll fund Romero, potentially. You can't see it. You haven't been watching. Well, I've been watching the tennis. That's something that I need to go and watch. Porro is not for sale. Porro does have interest, though. We need to be like, I don't think Spurs should sell Porro, but let's just be realistic to the idea that he could move. He could move. You know? So we have to be realistic to that. Porro is likely to resign unless City offer 60 plus. Yeah, I mean, again, Real Madrid signing Dumfries took them out of the market. So Italy won't afford him. I can't see. I could see him suiting Bayern, but I don't think Bayern would come in for him. It would be City. Liverpool? You can see Liverpool coming in for him potentially. Not Chelsea. Yeah, maybe so. Spurs should be open to selling Porro. I think Spurs should be open to selling most players, to be fair. Absolutely. There's a lot of players in that squad that I would move on from regardless. If this was Football Manager or if this was career mode, I'd move on from them. But Spurs need to be open about selling some of these players because there's a lot of just naff in that squad. And if we can make some money out of it, why not? Like, why not? And it's not because of FFP or PSR. Not that whatsoever. But just get rid of those players out of those squad spots because we've got some good players that we are linked with. I'd much rather than getting them in instead of players who have been shite for 2 years taking up our spots, you know? Where are the strikers in this market? Garassi, well, we are linked with Garassi. Moise Keane, there is supposedly links to Moise Keane. But see what happens with Vlahovic. I personally wouldn't want him. I've been steadfast about not wanting Vlahovic for a couple of years as well. I think he's flopped at Juventus, to be honest. I mean, just not that keen. So, on other strikers, it's kind of interesting to see what Spurs do. Not sure. Juve wanted a doggy. I mean, they can have a doggy. We'll have Cambiasa, and they can still have some money as well afterwards if they really want. But they're not going to do that, are they? 12 players that Zerbi wants to keep, and Porro is one. No, he does want to keep Porro. He would suit what Zerbi's going to try and do next year. So hence why I think Porro will stay. But what I'm saying is we all need to be open to the idea that we are going to be selling players that maybe we want to keep or maybe are quality and should keep is all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. So let's wait and see what happens with these guys. I think something to mention is that some players hold a lot of weight in their business model for getting. Oh, it's absolutely true. There's a lot of players. There's a lot of players that marketability wise makes sense. I mean, Marcus Rashford at Man United was a huge thing. You know, the bigger the social media, and maybe the unique the market. Son was that. You know, Son was good though, which helped. But Son was a massive market in South Korea. You know, you think anyone that has a good Australian player is going to benefit from it. Nottingham Forest benefiting from Chris Wood probably from New Zealand. You know, so it can happen. CDC, how are you, bud? I think Locatelli's going to leave Juventus. To be honest, I think he's happy as Larry there. The whole squad should be available. Look, you should give autonomy to a manager of the players that he wants in and players that he wants out. You should always give autonomy to them, and Zerbi should be given that, just like I think Anne should have had that. And, you know, in theory, Thomas Frank should have had that. Christ, could you imagine what he would have done? Jesus, what an idiot. But, you know, Redknapp should have had that. AVB probably did have that a little bit, but others should have had it. Pot should have had it more. If you say to a manager, I want you to deliver this, and he goes, okay, to deliver that, I need this, and you go, but no, I'm only going to give you this, then why should you still expect that same standard? If you're not going to deliver on what you need to give the manager to deliver on those promises, then don't expect the manager to give you what you want. But we shall see. Look, guys, I'm going to go enjoy watching Zverev versus Mensik in the semi-final of Roland Garros. Thank you so much for joining. Obviously, happy that Robbo's here. Happy Senesi's en route. And I hope to go live soon before I touch back down in England when the lives slow down again. So thanks for all joining, and I'll speak to you all soon. Take care. Peace.